For over a decade, the Black Ops franchise has been the dark, chaotic cousin of the Call of Duty family. Spies, conspiracies, mind control, and of course every franchise has to eventually go off the rails with nonsense like this. Hey, it's Cobra here to save you all from the paid, dishonest, sellout opinions out there on games, movies, and shows. Topic of discussion today is Black Ops. Not just that one, or that one, or that one, but all of them. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking all 7 of these games from worst to best. We're going to be looking at multiplayer, zombies, campaign, vibes, and how many controllers each entry made you break over the years.
Too many to count.
In order to decide which game is the crown jewel of the Black Ops series. And just FYI, only the base games will be taken into consideration as far as multiplayer and zombie maps go. Figured that would be fair since BO7 is only on its base release at the moment. And before we move on any further, I want to thank the now 2,500 of you that have subbed to the channel so far. We finally jumped over that 2,500 mark and I couldn't be more grateful for that. So if you enjoy videos about games, movies, and shows, consider hitting that subscribe button to get the ball rolling towards 3,000 to the end of the year. Anyway though, let's strap ourselves in and head back to the Cold War for some, and others strap yourself in for a trip to the future. Be sure to stick around to the end as well, because the #1 Black Ops game pick in this video is still a game that people might argue about to this day. But anyways, let's rank some Black Ops games.
Number 7.
Black Ops 4 is the Call of Duty where Treyarch said campaign? Nope. Microtransactions? Absolutely. Let's dial that thing up to 1,000 this time around. But don't worry, loyal, naive fans, we got you guys with the Battle Royale mode. And what they left us with is one of the most confusing entries in the Call of Duty franchise. Simply put, with Black Ops 4, it tried to reinvent itself, throwing away the classic formula, doubling down on the specialist, all while building the stepping stones for Warzone. And then, of course, you can't forget it slapped a loot box addiction onto everybody in order to feed their own pockets of greed. You could argue this is where the microtransactions took off to new levels in COD. Battle Pass progression was crawling like a snail. Loot crates galore like it's Madden Ultimate Team, $20 cosmetics, wild reactive camos. Okay, those are kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. But you could grind for hours and earned, well, a weapon charm like a banana, for example. Woohoo, yay me. Me personally, World War II was the Call of Duty that kicked off the whole pay us all your money approach. But as far as Black Ops goes, it soared to new heights here. Blackout had potential to be Warzone before Warzone existed, but instead it got drowned out by monetization. But I am happy to say overall, I think Blackout, at least for me, was a very enjoyable experience. Sadly, just FYI, I couldn't find a single match for recording purposes, so I don't personally have any footage of Blackout. One thing Blackout did that no other Battle Royale did at the time was give us a museum of COD history just put into one giant map. Nuketown Island, firing range, hydro dam, and eventually even burial from the zombie world arrived. Every square inch had identity. You weren't just fighting, you were fighting inside a nostalgic memory, all on one giant battleground, really. And the vehicles? Well, nothing beats a squad pulling up in a chopper or an ATV just to get blown up by a level 1 armored guy holding a TNT crossbow. It's ironic that the vehicles were a massive highlight of this mode because it somewhat felt like Call of Duty's version of Battlefield in a way. Plus, eventually the addition of that hot pursuit mode may be my favorite game mode in the Battle Royale world. Blackout was an absolute hit for this game. Whether you liked it or not, I think objectively it was a solid mode. What wasn't a solid mode for me was the multiplayer given this time around. Biggest standout issues for me was having the specialist being promoted in your face on a whole new level, while at the same time the maps being some of the worst mixes you've ever seen. And the time to kill or the damage spawn new approach thing just wasn't working for me. Suddenly, every engagement became a war of attrition. You weren't shooting someone, you were almost negotiating. You peek a corner, land 5 solid shots, they stim, you stim, both players reload and sprint around the map like 2 cockroaches with anxiety, and then you just continue laying bullets into each other until one of you eventually die. It really turned into a tactical MMO where your healing cooldown determined your outcome more than anything else. And don't even get me started on the ridiculous specialist/operator approach in this game. It feels very Rainbow Six inspired inspired, and you know that's exactly why they did it. Siege took off around this time, and Call of Duty, instead of sticking to their own guns and upgrading a very well-built foundation, they chased a trend and as a result lost their identity in the process. It's not all bad though. The gunplay here was a welcome sight at the time and honestly still holds up pretty well to this day. It's less free-feeling than the latest Black Ops games, but it feels smooth and responsive enough to work. On top of that, for the most part, despite all the over-the-top crap added to BO4, it still feels very well balanced. I know the ICR specifically was OP at launch and stability was also a problem, but it's all running pretty great nowadays and it feels well balanced. There is one more mode that Black Ops 4 does give you, the Zombies mode. Hello, you forgot me, mister. No, Mr. Campaign, I didn't forget you, Treyarch did. And what a shame real quick that a full-price Black Ops game can't even give you a short campaign like they normally do. It's not like they go hard and present us with a 20+ hour experience every single year, so I don't see the problem with throwing us another one. But anyways, a reminder when I talk about zombies in Call of Duty videos, just so you know I'm not an avid zombie hardcore player that knows all the lore and watches 10,000 hours of tutorial videos just to find your way through these complicated bosses and Easter eggs on these maps. I'm not exactly a casual player either, and I have put plenty of hours into World at War or Black Ops 1 and 2 zombies, so have it in mind just as we move forward here. Especially when I say that I mostly hate this mode in BO4. 3 maps were given to us at launch, which sounds incredible on the surface, until you realize there was complicated perk overhauls, very layered mechanics, and Easter eggs so complex, you would think that Treyarch wanted players to unlock the secrets to the whole universe. Legit, the 3 maps in my opinion were actually pretty solid though, as far as layout goes, especially that Gladiator one, but they are just way too complicated and overwhelming for any normal person that doesn't dedicate their lives to this mode. No directions are given to the player and it easily becomes a mess real quick and covers up the fun map structure you're given. For example, I'm out here calling in a champion thinking it might be a godlike ally to assist me against the undead, only to be devoured by a giant tiger instead that I was not ready for a single bit.
A contender calls the champion of Daru.
When I was a boy, I wanted to be a lion tamer.
From its meh multiplayer and zombie gameplay loop to its in-your-face loot boxes, a forgotten campaign, and a very stellar battle royale mode, I feel good with Black Ops 4 landing at the last place spot on this list.
Number 6.
Black Ops 6 is the Call of Duty that claimed it would fix the franchise going forward, it would save your friendships and give you a reason to wake up in the morning to look forward to video games once again. Instead, it gave us dolphin diving across the battlefield like gymnasts in a hostage situation, score streaks that feel like a tax return, and a zombie storyline that looked like it was written in a fever dream. And that really is Black Ops 6 in a nutshell, running around like chickens with your heads cut off kind of chaos. Multiplayer in 2024's COD said screw tactical approaches, everybody run around like sweats that you truly are, this time with the all-new Omni movement to assist you in that battle. Black Ops 6's multiplayer is like a reunion of every COD mechanic that ever gave anyone PTSD over these games. Slide canceling, back. Dolphin diving, back. Plus weapons kill so fast that you can't even scream "oh sh." Guns really do feel amazing and responsive, I gotta say. Aim assist isn't a suggestion here, it's a gravitational pull. Time to kill is faster than fast. This is the first Call of Duty where you're encouraged to sprint around like a cracked out hamster on every single map in order to win every single fight. And I can't emphasize it enough, it is literally constant. If Black Ops 4 was a war of attrition, Black Ops 6 is a quickie in the bathroom. I gotta admit, I really struggled to order BO6 and BO7 specifically with their similar qualities, but when it comes to Call of Duty, multiplayer will always carry more weight than campaign because of the story's short lifespan, so BO6 is ultimately below BO7 on the rankings for its map design as a whole. And again, remember, we're talking base maps for this video. Outside of Skyline and Payback, there's a whole lot of below average crap to fight on that's forgettable. Most of them are either way too tiny or suffer from an awful game flow design. It really had me checked out really quick on this game. Thankfully though, the campaign saved BO6 from the very bottom of this list list. Real quick before talking about our first campaign in the video, just a warning, spoilers could be ahead. I'm not going to actively try to talk spoilers, but when ranking games I might want to, so you have been warned going forward. This time around the campaign leads into Cold War 90s era spy intrigue type of thing. You play as Operative Case, working with old school series characters against a shady threat that lends the campaign a mood that's more covert ops than a run and gun. You'll often switch between stealthy infiltration, cinematic firefights, and some truly wait what is happening kind of horror-esque sequences that could really surprise some players at some points. Some missions out there do feel like a proper thriller, and others feel like a fever dream someone coded at 3 a.m. But hey, variety does keep it interesting, I gotta say. I did have some glaring issues with the campaign. It's not perfect by any means. Its whole mirage of using real history to carry the story that they promoted going into this game. Don't get me wrong, there are some recognizable people here, but then you end up realizing that they don't contribute to the story at all, and you end up playing a zombie-based story instead, which leads the real history feeling like a background thing. I've said it once and I'll say it again with these COD games, give us a realistic war-tone story with some Call of Duty fictional spice on top of it, not the other way around. Also can't bring up the campaign in BO6 without commenting on its 4-hour length. It's unacceptably short. Now though, let's talk about zombies. The best thing about this game overall, and alongside the campaign, keeps BO6 out of last place on this list. Simply put, round-based zombies are back, bitches.
Hell yeah.
Although every Black Ops game has had round-based zombies beforehand, so for this ranking's sake, we're gonna need more than that as far as the Black Ops games go. So okay, the fun zombie loop is back. Shoot hordes, upgrade guns, unlock areas, and survive wave after wave. It's addictive as ever, and along with that, it gives you visible directions for players like me that don't feel like spending all day figuring out where the freaking power switch is. The BO6 zombie maps at launch are well crafted with layered paths, clever secrets, and a lot of little Easter eggs if you are into that kind of kink. Exploration is rewarding, sometimes literally. If you unlock the wonder weapon or secret perks, it scratches that I must see everything itch hardcore fans love, plus all the gobble gums and pack-a-punch upgrades and perk things your heart desires. And what you get meshed together is one heck of a zombie mode. So yeah, with all that being said, Black Ops 6 lands comfortably at number 6.
Number 5.
The latest entry in the series, Black Ops 7, is the game that promised further evolution from BO6's release last year. And well, what it delivered was more chaos, but dialed back a touch from last year. You've still got multiplayer that's faster than your caffeine intake, zombies so convoluted that it will make your brain short circuit for a little bit, and a campaign that made me question my existence. Let's begin with its multiplayer. Thank the heavens we once again were gifted a solid set of maps to fight on this time around. Legit, there's only one map I feel sour about, and the rest are pretty good at worst, which really does go a long way for Call of Duty's survival rate as the year does pass by. There are more positives than the previous title for sure. You can finally stay with your lobby for more than one match again. The new wall jump mechanic is a great balance between your standard COD movement and BO3's wall running. Spawns so far for me have not been an issue, and the gunplay is at an all-time peak and continues to get better and better with each year that passes by. And I didn't mention this in the Black Ops 6 portion of the video, but after playing all these different eras of multiplayer for the video's sake, I think I'm starting to really love the whole limited score streak appearance thing. When Black Ops 6 first came out, I noticed that streaks were few and far between, and I kind of ripped on that initially, but it's really nice not spending half of your matches getting rammed in the butt by chopper gunners and plenty of other BS. I like that kill streaks do reward good players, but it can make matches feel really out of hand and get really annoying real quick. And as a whole though, BO7's multiplayer feeling slightly toned down and better than last year, plus its strong set of launch maps gives it an edge over BO6. But that campaign, I don't even want to talk about it again because I hate it so much, but I have to, so here we go. My question is very simple. Who in the planning room was hopped up on too much medication or shrooms for the day? Because whoever you are,
I will find you.
And I will kill you.
I seriously hate whoever came up with this atrocious 1 out of 10 garbage. We're supposed to do realistic war-based stories with an element of Call of Duty magic mixed in. Instead, you have us out here playing one of your worst over-the-top zombie-like experiences you've ever put in a story mode. Fighting bosses like you're playing a fantasy RPG game, unloading dozens of bullets into these zero-fun, brain-dead sponges. And what happened to us getting thrown into these situations where we're part of a memorable team with characters that I actually invest in? And that's not even to mention the overall lag and issues I had along the way. At one point I died on my gunship that I was supposed to ride on, then I respawn in, only for it to leave me high and dry while I chased it all over the freaking map. But that bitch got what he deserved in the end, and I wasn't there for it like the game wanted me to be. And like I said, lagging all over the place too. And why is that? Well, it's because you're always online during a solo story experience. And you can't even pause the game if something's going on in your real life, like I had to do whenever I take notes for these videos. But seriously, let's move on to zombies before I start blowing a gasket over this stupid mode. And just like BO6, BO7 delivers a very positive journey to play through as far as zombies go. If I'm being honest, this kind of felt like Treyarch ran out of ideas for the time being and said, you know what? Let's attempt to redeem ourselves with Transit Volume 2. Personally, I enjoyed Transit more than others do. Not saying it was good, but I thought it was below average, maybe average, but I like the uniqueness of it. Anyway, BO7 Zombies feels inspired by Transit without a doubt, and it has this brand new truck mechanic to it. Straight out of Pacific Drive, this truck becomes your lifeline. This time around, instead of that asshole bus driver leaving you behind in Transit, you get full control of the wheel to leave idiot teammates behind yourself. Sadly, you do only get one map this year, but it's filled with points of interest that feel like multiple small maps within itself. In the farm area, for example, you can even play a full-on survival mode. So if you want to leave all of that objective hunting crap and just try a good old hardcore, old school zombie mode kind of thing, then this is your thing. I don't have much detail for zombies because it's literally almost copy and paste besides the transit aspect from BO6. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it for now. With slightly improved gameplay and multiplayer, much improved map selections, a zombie mode that works well enough for the time being, and maybe the worst campaign I've ever played in my entire life, Black Ops 7 lands at number 5 on the Black Ops rankings.
Number 4.
Now we're into the games I'm extremely familiar with. In fact, so familiar that I know BO3 landing this low on the rankings is going to trigger a good portion of you. And what can I say? I felt this way a decade ago, and replaying all of these games for the last few weeks, I feel almost exactly the same way. Black Ops 3 is one of the most overrated Call of Duties ever made. Again, overrated does not mean bad, but I see BO3 often rated as high as second best or even sometimes the best Black Ops game, and I think that's just a ridiculous opinion, but you're entitled to your opinion. Beginning here with the gameplay and multiplayer. Actually, no, before even talking that, Black Ops 4 heavily pushed the character specialists down our throats, but Black Ops 3 is where that crap began, don't forget. Maybe some of you like that aspect, but I don't in the slightest. It's just not Call of Duty for me. Circling back to gameplay, the wall running is another thing that began all the crap you dislike about other shooters out there. You think BO6 and 7 are too chaotic? Well, some of the elements there were born in Black Ops 3. Those sad, depressing Call of Duties out there like Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare, BO3 has the same kind of jumping all over the place vibes those games do. That being said though, like I said, overhyped, not bad. And with a lot of these well-designed maps, the wall running and limited jumping boost thing that you can do can be a bunch of fun. For me, it can be a little too much for Call of Duty sometimes, but it does have its place to shine depending on what map you're playing. And something that does not shine, once again, is this campaign. BO3 throws out the traditional soldier template and gives you technology enhancement, wall running, double jumps, and special abilities that can occasionally feel fresh and fun, but ultimately I think falls on its face. And once you get past that initial wow factor of the gameplay side of things, there's really not much to take away from this one. The story tries to be a high-tech espionage and cyberpunk thriller all at once, and in the end it fails spectacularly in my eyes. You've got memory hacking plot points, characters with zero personality, villains that explain everything in monologues till you fall asleep, Really the biggest screaming issue here, about halfway through, you're wondering what the hell is even going on half the time. You're also wondering if Treyarch even knows what's supposed to be going on while making this game. It got to the point where I stopped caring who the bad guy even was, or if there even was a bad guy, because everyone had cyber implants and spoken techno babble the whole game. There are some memorable usual COD-like explosion and Hollywood-like sequences, but the whole time I'm like, what is even happening right now, and why should I even care? This was the era that Call of Duty thought way in the future was cool because of Black Ops 2's success, but they were massively wrong with this one. But again though, thank God for zombies. Now yes, admittingly, this is where the series lost my interest along the way as far as real life timelines go, but now going back, I really enjoy Shadows of Evil a lot. Is it way over the top with the creature-like elements and the BO7 campaign-like tone? Yes, but I'm a lot more open to that weird wacky stuff in zombies over a campaign, to a point. And I don't think that point was quite broken here. First off, the atmosphere is right up my alley, and I mean that literally. There's alleyways everywhere. Shadows of Evil has one of the most distinct zombie environments you've ever seen, set in a twisted, noir-inspired 1940s city called Morgue City. The map is full of neon-lit streets and ominous landmarks all around you. It's creepy, cinematic, and unlike the traditional bunker style or the sci-fi settings from previous zombie maps, every district feels unique, and exploring the city really does immerse you in the horror. You can even activate beast mode and temporarily transform into a tentacled demon to access hidden areas, activate rituals, or traverse obstacles. It's a fresh twist on a standard zombie gameplay and adds a strategic layer that's not too complex to understand once you play it a few times. From buildable weapons and wonder weapons to introducing the game-changing Gobblegum feature, Black Ops 3 Zombie Mode is highly regarded among the undead community, and for me it's the sole reason BO3 remains this high up on the list. Gotta be honest, I wanted to put this game lower, but its levels above the previous three without a doubt in my mind, so smack in the middle you go.
Number 3.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, aka Black Ops 5, the game that promised a gritty, intense spy thriller with old school boots on the ground action, and it delivered on that, maybe even over-delivered a tad. Before you get too mad, hear me out on this one, because before revisiting this game, I did have this second worst on the rankings, like a lot of you might, so I do feel your negative vibes towards this game heading into it, but I recommend you go try this game again, because while I was having a genuine blast with this one, and if it wasn't for the top two being so legendary, I would have put this game even higher if I'm being real. Multiplayer and gameplay wise, coming off of MW19, a game that I defend and love so much gameplay wise, on the original release, as soon as I booted up this game, it felt dated, and if I'm being honest, it still kind of does, which is one of the main issues I do have with Cold War. The graphics look very last gen is my best way of stating that, and the multiplayer and gun gameplay is noticeably a step back from MW19, but they say comparison is the thief of joy for a reason, cause this time around with MW19 far in the rearview mirror, I was enjoying every single second of it. While yes, objectively it is still a step down from MW19, it still feels very fluid and snappy in its own way. Aiming felt extremely accurate and responsive. I was having zero issues hitting my targets with confidence. Even if a lot of my targets and teammates enjoy camping way too much on these somewhat large scale maps, I gotta say a lot of these maps actually are very good. They reward positioning and encourage a more tactical approach, unlike BO6 and 7, but there were way too many times I got killed by players just sitting there not moving the whole game. I even caught my teammates more than once not contributing and relaxing instead until somebody walked into their sights. The multiplayer in Cold War isn't a 10 out of 10 or anything, but it's pretty damn solid. But something that is a borderline 10 out of 10 is the amazing campaign. Right off the bat, the writing and the very underwhelming rushed final level had this mode at more of a 9 for me. But outside of those couple little issues, I love this campaign so much. Finally, going back towards the Black Ops 1 incredible era, this campaign leads into the Cold War espionage, offering stealth missions, code cracking, and covert operations, alongside a mix of a run and gun element. You truly feel like a secret agent sneaking through enemy territory rather than just just a soldier clearing rooms. And that's the main thing I loved so much. Tons of highly immersive locations across the globe you travel to along the way. They are stunning to just look at as you play through these well done stealth sections. And during some of the other missions, there's a very different approach taken to those as well. Sometimes it's guns ablazing instantly, and others it's wrecking in a helicopter, for instance, and defending your ground for survival. Ultimately, I love the different level approach in general. Some missions stand out due to its clever design or creative objectives, like infiltrating bases, rescuing agents, or performing sabotage playing as an undercover rat. The OG crew is also back too. I wish you got to spend more time with Woods or Mason, but what you're given here works well enough. Plus, the new characters like Adler, for instance, are incredible for the story as you play through. And when he kills you at the end, that's a solid old school COD campaign-like thing to do that I enjoy seeing. Memorable for good reasons, and realistic tone is all I ask for these shorter stories that Call of Duty delivers. And you already know what's coming by now, good old zombies, and this was one that I had fond memories of years ago. Up to that point of the initial release in this game, I was beyond checked out with zombies, but I remembered hearing it was a little more simplified than it had been in BO3 and BO4, so I gave it a shot, and Die Machine, I think is how you say that. That's probably not how you say it, but that's what it looks like. It turned into one of my favorite zombie experiences ever, if I'm being honest. They weren't lying. It's still somewhat complex, but it guides you where you need to go, and the map layout isn't confusing after 1 or 2 playthroughs. Gobblegums, of course, return, and to my knowledge, this is the game that introduced crafting to the whole zombie gameplay loop. A feature I found to be pretty fun. Craft armor upgrades, explosives like frags or those monkey things, or you can even create kill streaks, which is very interesting. I also enjoyed the tasks thing. I don't know if that's a new thing specifically for Cold War, but as far as the base games go, I'm pretty positive it is. You pay 500 credits and it'll randomly generate an objective for you to accomplish, and it can lead to some fun, interesting gameplay loop for you as well. I also really enjoyed the alternate world that you go to once you turn the power on. It's visually creative to look at, and once again, not too crazy where it gets out of control, but I do like it. This is the type of depth I love seeing from a zombies map. Yeah, there's probably a ridiculous boss or something that I'll never survive long enough to discover, but the base gameplay survival loop is a ton of fun. The map has a good layout on the surface for you to run around in circles to take down hordes of zombies, and the underground area below you containing the Pack-a-Punch and other goodies can be a death trap, which leaves you constantly questioning how worth it is to go down there for what you want. I've said all I need to on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War without the video being 2 hours long. A fantastic campaign, underappreciated multiplayer experiences, and a pretty great zombie mode overall has it top 3 on this list.
Number 2.
Now, I know a good bit of you out there might have a tie between 1 and 2 on the list, but I don't do ties on this channel, and honestly, there is no tie for me if I'm being legit. Number 1 in this video is a level above in my true honest opinion. Call of Duty Black Ops 1 comes in at number 2. It's the game that made you question whether you were a secret agent, a soldier, or just a guy that keeps getting shot in Vietnam. What an absolute stud this game is. It may not be the best Black Ops game in my eyes, but it damn sure is an excellent game. Let's start off with probably my only issue the game has, its gun gameplay. Yes, it's probably unfair because of how old the game is compared to the other ones, but it doesn't hold up, and if it doesn't hold up, it doesn't hold up. Playing this game again, I was not liking the very stiff and outdated gameplay. It is very similar to BO2, but I found it to be more dated feeling than that one. But other than that though, the game is just oozing with positivity. Look no further than the endless supply of iconic maps you're given. Maps like Nuketown, Firing Range, and Summit are remade over and over again for a reason. They balance verticality, cover, and sightlines perfectly. Whether you're sneaking around corners, holding a sniper's nest, or rushing into a firefight, maps encourage a little bit of strategy while still supporting an element of chaotic run and gun fun Call of Duty is known for. The simplistic nature of the original Black Ops is really what makes the well-oiled machine run so well, with limited gun attachments, perks that can completely change the way you play, and killstreak choices coming into play as often as they do. Every decision you make before heading into battle matters so much in this simplified game. If you want even more positivity, look no further than this all-timer of a campaign. And as much as I warmed up to Cold War and its campaign, BO1 is still my favorite without a doubt. Black Ops 1's story gives you that Cold War madness at its finest. You play as Alex Mason, a spy with amnesia and questionable life choices. Then it throws you into covert ops, mind control experiences, and assassinations to go along with that. Might sound a little chaotic like some of the other campaigns lower on the list, but somehow it all works perfectly here. Similar to Cold War, the campaign mixes up gameplay really well with stealthy infiltration, high intensity firefights, explosive set pieces, and cinematic vehicle sequences. Plus, you just get those moments, man, from that legendary Soviet prison escape with Reznov in Vorkuta to assassinating highly important targets in Cuba. Each mission feels unique and memorable. And once again, along the way, similar to Cold War, you get to experience so many different environments that drill into your memory, from snowy Soviet landscapes to dense jungles in Vietnam. These locations are rich, detailed, and immersive for that time. Also, quick side note, in Cold War's campaign, is this the Avalanche location from the Black Ops 1 campaign? I don't think it is, and I tried searching about it, but nobody seemed to connect the dots like I did. If it is though, that's seriously cool, and they casually just snuck that one in there, and I appreciate them for that. But overall, like I said, I don't think it is, so you gotta let me know if you make it this far in the video. As far as Call of Duty goes, if you want a really immersive and fun cinematic experience that takes you on a journey, BO1 is here for you. Oh, and don't forget, when you finally complete a particular mission, a cutscene reveals that you were brainwashed the whole time and your mind just explodes with shock. It is one of Call of Duty's greatest story twists, and it can't go unsaid before we move on to zombies here. And as we move over to zombies, what else can I say but another great thing that Black Ops 1 brought to the table. Not the game that started it all, but it's the one that took the ball and ran with it all the way to present day. Grounded, horrifying are the words that come to my mind that best describe the early days of zombies. Back when survival was the only thing on your mind. Kino der Toten, dare I say that correctly? I don't know. Comes in as one of the greatest zombie maps still to this day, which is crazy to say. It is such a well-designed map. It loops around perfectly for zombie chases. It mixes interiors with exteriors to give players different types of areas to explore. Plus, that incredible theater area has given us so many zombie slaying memories, and I even love the idea of the Pack-a-Punch only being accessible through the teleportation device on the stage. It's not an extremely in-depth mode that you're used to now in the base game for Black Ops 1, but it really is zombies almost at peak level, and I think you'll love every single second of it if you've never tried it before. But Black Ops 1 provides an all-time legendary campaign, an awesome zombie experience, and near perfect multiplayer experiences as well. No question, it is the second best Black Ops game for me.
And number 1.
Not only is Black Ops 2 the best Black Ops game ever made, but it is one of my favorite games, period, to ever exist. All that time ago, BO2 was the game that promised futuristic warfare, an iconic storyline, and more chaotic, techie multiplayer than any sane person should ever endure. And wow, did they deliver on those promises and then some. Starting with my favorite Call of Duty multiplayer in franchise history. I love COD 4, MW2, MW19, and even BO1, but when it comes to Black Ops 2's multiplayer, nothing touches it for me. As far as maps go, this is probably the most debatable point in the video. Which game had a better set of maps, Black Ops 1 or 2? For me, it's pretty much dead even, and you can debate that till the cows come home, but you got legendary maps once again here like Raid, Express, Hijacked, Standoff, and even Nuketown 2025, giving us a very cool futuristic coat of paint on the best Call of Duty map ever made. And you know, before Treyarch remade this thing into the ground. Back to the other maps though, they are carefully designed to balance close quarter combat with long range engagements. Just like Black Ops 1, verticality, cover, and choke points reward strategic play, and it still leaves room for spontaneous chaos that you'll have plenty of fun with. The new Pick 10 system is one of the most significant innovations in Black Ops 2. Players can choose 10 points to spend on weapons, perks, attachments, or equipment. This system allows nearly limitless customization, letting you craft extreme stealth builds, all-out assault setups, or balanced hybrids. I gotta say, one of the biggest standouts overall for Black Ops 2 was replacing traditional kill streaks with the futuristic score streaks. It rewarded consistent performances for anything, not just kills. So if you contribute to the team in a domination or any other of those team-based game modes, you get rewarded towards your kill streak or score streak. Plus, I love the future vibe stuff here. Things like Guardians, Dragonfire drones, ACRs, EMP systems, and the devastating lightning strike. It's just a bunch of tools that really shaped it up at the time. And outside of multiplayer, while it might not be my #1 favorite campaign, BO2 still gives you a top tier one to remember forever without a doubt. Set in the near future, aka 2025, so right now. Wow, I feel old. You play as David Mason, the son of Alex Mason, your main character from Black Ops 1, and he is trying to stop a threat like Call of Duty has never seen before. His name is Raul Menendez. In my opinion, the most memorable and vicious villain in any game in the franchise. He's intelligent, charismatic, and manipulative. His speeches, monologues, and personal motivations make him feel real. Unlike many video games villains who are evil just for the sake of being evil, Menendez has a backstory that fuels his actions. Loss, betrayal, and personal tragedy shape him into this ruthless leader who's determined to reshape and take over this world. And really, that is what makes him an all-time memorable antagonist. Another thing I love that makes BO2's campaign stand out so much is its two timeline approach they give the player here. You get to see the classic Cold War missions featuring Alex Mason and Woods, mostly to dive into that well-told backstory I mentioned about Menendez and Mason. I'm usually hesitant with pacing a story like this, but when it's done well, it can add a lot, and I think it was done almost perfectly here. The game also actually features branching storylines that actually change your experience and ending too, but sadly that does come with my one main gripe in BO2's campaign, the god-awful and tedious strike missions. I'm actually pretty interested in those command and conquer like strategy games, but in the middle of a Call of Duty campaign, no thank you. And before getting out of here, we can't forget good old transit zombies from BO2. We've already briefly touched on this one earlier, but let's chat about it a little bit more. For starters, transit is massive compared to previous zombie maps. Instead of a single contained area, players travel across multiple interconnected locations like the bus depot, diner, town, power station, and bus terminal, and it's all linked together by a rideable bus. This gives a sense of scale and exploration that earlier maps didn't in the series, and it feels like a true open world zombie experience that I did enjoy in some ways. But I think that's where a lot of issues that even I agree with start showing their face. The whole idea as a whole was just too big and ambitious for that generation of consoles. It often felt like a mess more than it actually felt polished. A lot of game crashes and things not working properly, like that stupid turbine thing giving you a 50-50 chance that it'll actually open the door that you wanted to open for the pack-a-punch, and by the time you get there you find out it fails and you gotta do the whole loop again. Plus the difficulty and struggles get cranked up to 1000 when the bus driver decides to go rogue and leave you behind in the distance. You will then notice how far these points of interest really are from each other, and you'll also notice how foggy and impossible it is to see anything in front of your face, including the annoying lava all over the ground and those face-fucking annoying zombie guys that claw you along the way. Like I said, there are some things that I do like about it, and it's closer to below average or average than actually terrible. With that being said though, the multiplayer is always #1 in a COD game for me as far as BO2 goes. Plus another amazing campaign keeps the average transit at bay from dropping this game from #1 on the rankings. So there you have it, the best Black Ops game of all time. From gritty Cold War experiences to futuristic robotic chaos, every Black Ops game in the series ranked from worst to best, and you now know which one I think is bad and which one I think is the best. I would love to hear your opinions about my list in the comments below for sure, and while you're down there, let me know your rankings and why you love or hated a specific Black Ops game so much. Also, make sure to sub to the channel for more videos on games, movies, and shows coming out in the near future if you're into that kind of thing. I hope you have a great rest of your day. That's gonna be it for me in this long one. See ya!